With the handheld PC market heating up, the Lenovo Legion Go seems to get overlooked. This review won't be super technical or focus on how powerful the device is and what it can run and stuff like that. It will more so be focused on my experience and how it's been using this device and why I like it the most, more than the ROG Ally and the Steam Deck. So let's get into it. So I know I said it wouldn't focus on power, but just to start, in terms of power, it actually is as powerful as the ROG Ally and a little bit more powerful than the Steam Deck. It has a slightly bigger battery with a bigger display than both the Steam Deck and the ROG Ally. But if you watch the many videos on YouTube, other devices perform better at certain tasks and at different TDP levels. Again, just as powerful, but it kind of might differ depending on what you're doing and also depending on the time of optimizations and updates. On paper, there's not too much that stands out about this device, but for me, it's the little things that make it my favorite handheld PC. The unboxing experience is simple yet meaningful at the same time. You get the basic manuals and books and a charger and a case, but when you open up the case, you find a small space filled with this mysterious object. As you explore the device, you learn about FPS mode and where that little object magnetically attaches to one of the removable controllers, turning it into a full-fledged mouse. That stuff is cool, and I'll get back to the controller soon, but here's another reason why I'm saying it's the little things. On the case, there's a small hole that lines up exactly where the bottom USB-C port is. This is such a small detail, yet very cool and impactful for me, because I can make sure that my Legion Go is charged up and ready to go while it's still in the case. This allows me to just grab it and head out with no worries or fumbling to pack it up. Another little thing that I kind of hinted towards is the fact that it has two USB ports. Two ports might not seem like much, but to someone like me who tries to use all his devices to their limits, this is a cool addition. It's useful at my desk when I'm using my Legion Go as a desktop PC. It's useful for connecting things like SSDs while still charging the device and connecting it to my monitor. There are many things that you can use an extra port for, so it's nice to see that on this device. Both of the USB-C ports are USB 4, which means that you can use external GPUs and Thunderbolt accessories, things that are generally more powerful and you can't just use with regular USB-C ports. At first glance, it can feel like a Nintendo Switch copy, but it's way more than that. These controllers function wired or wirelessly as you would expect, and like I mentioned earlier, they have something called FPS mode. Basically, you flip the switch at the bottom of the right controller and it turns that controller into a mouse and the left controller into a mini keyboard for movement and control. This feature is cool, but admittedly, I'm probably not going to use it that much. What really makes these detachable controllers special for me is the flexibility to game in almost any circumstance. The moment where the vision connected for me and what made me fall in love with this device was one afternoon where I was charging my car and I had my 8-month-old daughter sitting on my lap. With my ROG Ally or my Nintendo Switch, I would usually try to game a little while holding her, but as she got older and more independent, she slowly started to hate being held in a position that makes it possible to game. In the car or a situation where she's in my lap or in my arms, I can't really use a handheld device because she'll be too interested and she won't stop poking and pressing and touching the device. This is where the vision of the Lenovo Legion Go really clicked for me. On that afternoon, I was having trouble gaming on the Legion Go while I had her in my lap in the car, but then I remembered these controllers are detachable and wireless when disconnected. So I took the controllers off the handheld, extended its kickstand and placed it down at an angle that I can comfortably see while still being able to reach my daughter. And now I was playing Maplestory, an online PC MMORPG, while my daughter was happy in my lap. She even started touching the controllers, but not enough to press any buttons or get in my way. This was the moment where I realized it's the little things that make this device special compared to the rest. Before that, I was struggling to see the point and benefits over the ROG Ally. Like, yeah, it has a bigger screen, but the ROG Ally is super portable and customizable and powerful. But anyways, to add on to the theme of the little things that make this device special is the trackpad on the right controller. This basically enables me to play a bunch of PC MMORPGs pretty easily without having issues navigating the in-game menus and UI. With the ROG Ally, I have to either suffer and use the analog stick as a mouse or bring a Bluetooth mouse with me at all times to play games like Maplestory. There is the touchscreen, but even that, I struggle to precisely tap different things on the menus and in the UIs. With the Legion Go, the trackpad is more than sufficient. And I know the Steam Deck has trackpads, but the Steam Deck is native to Linux, so I can't play Maplestory and games like that unless I install Windows on that, but that's a whole nother process and it takes a little bit more time and tinkering. Going back to the Legion Go versus the Nintendo Switch in a similar scenario, the Switch is limited to only Nintendo Switch games or games on the eShop. The Lenovo Legion Go is literally a Windows computer, so I can play almost anything that I can get running on it, including Nintendo Switch games through emulation if I really wanted to. The other major benefit for this kind of use case is the huge 8.8-inch screen. At first I thought the screen wouldn't feel that much bigger than the ROG Ally or the Switch, but nah, this thing is a legitimate tablet competitor in terms of screen size and viewing angles. I can put this thing down on different surfaces and comfortably watch videos or even play multiplayer games more comfortably than I would with a Nintendo Switch in a similar situation. So far in my experience, the only issue I've encountered was Sonic Frontiers not working properly, but that issue wasn't necessarily the handheld itself, it was a game issue, and that issue was patched, so that's no longer an issue. In terms of everything else though, all the other games I play on PC, they work well on this device, and more specifically with Maplestory, I've had a way easier time getting it to run and just work on this device compared to the ROG Ally. The ROG Ally literally took me hours to figure out, and even then I had aspect ratio issues and sizing issues. The game just wouldn't want to start properly on the ROG Ally. But with the Legion Go, Maplestory just runs and opens fine with no issues. Sometimes there are like typical issues that you get with this game, but that's just a Maplestory thing. Overall, I'm really happy with the gaming experience and performance so far. The Legion Go is one of the most versatile devices out right now. If you bring a foldable keyboard, then you can use the right controller as a mouse and get real work done on it. Like I said earlier, the 8.8-inch screen is comparable to tablets, especially the 11-inch tablets that a lot of people use for work and school nowadays. Portable productivity is way better on this device and way more possible than the ROG Ally or the Steam Deck. And the fact that it has 2 USB-C ports means that I can easily connect different accessories to it. And I use it as a desktop like 90% of the time when I'm at home, to be honest, because it just works really well. I have no issues with performance in the games that I play. And then when I'm out and about, I carry it with me and I use it as a handheld. It works really well like that. So after all that, I know what some of you are thinking, and I also agree. The Lenovo Legion Go doesn't necessarily do anything new in the handheld space. However, it does all these little things so well that to me it feels like a fresh and new experience. But to end this video, I'm thoroughly happy with this device. It's not perfect and I'm waiting for more customizations for the controls, and the ergonomics are not as good as the ROG Allies, but even where the device stands right now, it's worth being my main gaming device. But yeah, that's all for now. Like the video if you liked it and subscribe for more content. We out.